Hey, I'm Joe Costa. I am a freelance engineer here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're doing this from Ben's studio. It's a wonderful place, great sounding room.
I'm Leslie Richter, also freelance engineer in Nashville, and work out of Ben's studio, and that's about it.
Yeah! It's unbelievable! It's unbelievable! It's unbelievable!
We're at Ben's studio, which is historic RCA Studio A. It's been through several incarnations since the mid-'60s, but lots of records in the mid-'60s. Anything on RCA was made here. Chet Atkins built this building, and so that the rest of the world would realize that Nashville wasn't backwards, for lack of a better term, and that we could make records just like the big dogs. And so there's a lot of history here in this room, and we try to continue that history-making process. We make records here. We don't just do sessions. Now it's sort of, run by Ben Folds, and we've opened for commercial use in the past 3 years after it being private use for Ben for a decade. And sort of, like Joe said, it gets better and better and better, and we keep adding new stuff and getting new clients, and yet trying to maintain the history and vibe that is this room, because it's full of, the walls are full of history. This is, I would say, from working in a lot of studios in Nashville, this is the biggest tracking space. You can fit the most string players, the biggest orchestra, as far as the studio goes in this space.
It was designed. It was designed
for that.
Yeah. So you've got the orchestral space. It sounds great, and you do rock bands. You can all kind of huddle in a corner, and put mics far away. I mean, it's a great use of it. You can just make great use of the space.
Yeah.
As little as you want to use, or as much as you want to use. So there's a range of all kinds of range of projects to come through here. Orchestral stuff, rock stuff, country stuff. We did Sound of the Life of the Mind, the new Ben Folds 5 record here, and that's been like the bigger one that I've done recently. But the studio's been booked with outside clients like constantly. Well, I'm working on something with Ben today, and we're actually doing a lot of distance miking, and we're getting an orchestral sound with him playing different percussion instruments. And I'm really not close miking much of anything. So it's real important. I mean, and you want to use, the whole reason to use this room, in my opinion, is for the sound of it. I mean, you can throw up any mic. When I first started working here, actually, I was used to being in smaller rooms, and some rooms sounded okay and some didn't sound great. And you'd bring a mic up and hear the low end of the room, and you'd know it's working and all that stuff. I mean, the first time I put up a 47 in this room in Omni and just listened to the sound of the room, people walking around, it was like, wow, this is like, I'm going to use a lot of Omni mics now. I mean, this is like, this is great. And it's real important. And it also makes it a little easier too. I mean, this room just sounds fantastic. So, I mean, you can't really mess it up. Well, I'm sure you can, but it's very difficult, We've got R88. We've got an R84, R92. We've got the pre's, which are great. And well, I really like the R88 for overheads, and I also like it for when we're doing a string section. I like putting that like just right in front, and it's just a really beautiful sound. The tone is amazing, and combined with like a deck of tree, and it just really fills in that whole mid-range. Is just absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, the R84, I know we've used it on Ben's vocal for a few things. It's really smooth, and God, I mean, got horns and stuff. I mean, you guys probably use them on horns.
Use a lot the R92 and the R84 a lot for brass, trombones, trumpets, French horns, any sort of wind instrument sounds amazing. I also like the R84 for sort of a mono room thing with the drums out there.
Cool, yeah.
It's a handy, the R84 is a handy mic to just have up in the center of the room for anything that people want to add on a session. We're going to run out and do hand claps. Like, oh, there's the R84. We're going to run out and do a gang vocal. There's the R84. It's always there, and like works for kind of any. For me, it works for anything that you want to just run out and guerrilla recording. You know.
Yeah, and we use the pre's a lot too, especially on string sessions and smaller string sections too, which is great. You know, especially if you're stacking a lot, it can get kind of noisy, and the pre's are awesome. They really keep the noise down. You know, in conjunction with the R88, it's pretty nice. Yeah. You know, accidents happen, and you have you know, you pull up a mic. It's not the mic you intended. But it's another one nearby or wherever, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of stuff's great. Throwing a ribbon mic over the drums, I mean, usually will tame down if the drummer doesn't really mix themselves too well when they play, if they're just bashing, and all that stuff. Ribbon mics tend to, like, you know, suck in everything and kind of compress it. Yeah. That's a good thing to do. But yeah, other than that, I don't like have a secret, you know, weapon. I'd have to kill you if I did tell you, but I don't really have one.
I mean, I don't know. Same with like secret weapon, but I know that I'm maybe in just a ribbon phase of my life where I think it's like what I love right now. It's what sounds cool to my ear. It's what makes, you know, I'm in a ribbon zone.
I love it. Yeah, that's a good place to be. Yeah, that's really awesome.
And a lot of it stemmed from sort of working in this studio and having these awesome ribbon mics at my disposal and tossing them up for different things that I never would have considered a ribbon for in my past, and going, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the room sounds so good.
Yeah.
I mean, the percussion and stuff, it just, you know, it just smooths everything out and it sucks the room in, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I think I've grown over the years into, you know, and I know it sounds silly and maybe it's my age, but I, you know, 5, 8, whatever, like years ago I would never go to a ribbon mic for an acoustic guitar, and now like I would, and it, you know, depending on the song and the band and the what sort of, you know, vibe everybody's going for, but things like that, things like a client asked me to put a ribbon on a hi-hat once, and I was like, you're out of your mind. But it worked out. Kick drums, I would never have put ribbons on kick drums, you know, in the past, and now I think it's cool.